Hello. In this video, I want to go through all the cards that I would include if I was going to build a Sokka and Suki commander deck. It's a Jeskai equipment ally commander. And one of the fun things I like about this commander is that usually in our equipment deck, we have to balance having equipment and we have to balance having creatures. But this deck guarantees that every single time we make an equipment, it equips to something, which solves our creature problem. Adaptive Omni Tool is the first equipment I want to talk about. For 2 colorless, is an artifact equipment. It gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control, which would be your other equipment, artifact lands, anything like that. And whenever it attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from one of them in front of your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Guarantees you just keep drawing into your other equipment that enter and make an ally, and then your commander, Sokka and Suki, or another ally enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to that creature. So every single time an equipment enters, it attaches itself, and now you have an equipped creature. Akiri, Fearless Voyager, is 1, a red, and a white for a 3/3. Whenever you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, draw a card. Super nice card. And then for 1 white, you may unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap that creature and it gains indestructible until its turn. Probably not worth doing to protect our 1/1 white allies, but pretty good. Andro Narsil Reforged. For 2 colorless, it's a legendary artifact equipment with Ascend. So it checks if you have 10 or more permanents. If you do, you have the city's blessing for the rest of the game. And whenever equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. If you have the city's blessing, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature instead. Every single time the equipped creature attacks, all of your creatures get a +1/+1 counter. Super good. Plus, if you already have your commander, this is a 2 mana, automatically equips to something. Super nice. Argentum Armor for 6 colorless. Equipped creature gets +6/+6, and whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target permanent. Super good. Creatures, artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers, battles, any of it. Everything can be destroyed, including lands. Assimilation Aegis for 1, a white, and a blue. When it enters, you exile up to 1 target creature until it leaves the battlefield. Whatever becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it remains attached to it, that creature becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it. So, the Assimilation equipment enters. You exile your opponent's 6/6 flyer Coma card. As long as it's not their commander, you just exile it. Your commander gives you a 1/1. You attach the Assimilation onto it, and then immediately for 1, a white and a blue, you removed a creature from play, and you made a copy of it. And it's an equipment, and you made an ally, and it's on Fate. That is a great place to be. Basilisk Collar for 1 colorless, an artifact equipment that gives equipped creature Death Touch and Lifelink. So it's a great blocker just to throw it on a 1/1. So 1 mana, make a 1/1, it has Death Touch and Lifelink. And then later in the game, super nice to put it on a big creature with big lifelink effects. Black Blade Reforged for 2 colorless. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. It equips to a legendary creature for 3 and a huge cost of 7 to equip onto a non-legendary creature. But those 1/1s just automatically have something attached to them. And it doesn't have to be the equipment that just entered, right? Whenever it or another ally enters under your control, I'm reading the commander, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to that creature, not the equipment that just entered. So you can have Blood Forged Battle Axe. When the equipped creature that this is equipped to makes a token copy of this card, that's an equipment that enters. You don't have to necessarily attach that to the 1/1 that just entered the battlefield. You could attach one of your other big equipment that's not currently attached to anything to that creature, which is super nice. Boros Charm, super modal. You can either do 4 damage to a creature, get rid of a planeswalker, give permanency control indestructible, that's your creatures and your equipment, or target creature gains double strike, able to kill a player, which is a fantastic place to be. Also love Boros Charm because it's an instant and targets creatures that you don't control. If your opponent is going to lose to one of your opponent's creatures, you can give that creature double strike too. Burrow Headmaster for 1, a white, for red and a 1, for red and a white. It's a 2/2. Equipped spells cost 1 less, and equipped abilities cost 1 less. Not an allied, but still very valuable in this deck. Buster Sword, great card, 3 colorless, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2, and whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. Every single time the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. This is a great thing to also pair up with Tramp. Conformer Shuriken for 2 colorless. Equipped creature has. When this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has power greater than its power, put a number of +1/+1 counters onto this creature equal to the difference. Fantastic. Tapping, attacking, very good. No, the creature can't block, and your creature gets much bigger. Conqueror's Flail. For 2 colorless, it's an equipment. It gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control, so it'd be +3/+3 if you have your commander. And as long as it's attached to a creature, your opponents can cast spells during your turn. No counter magic, no bounce magic, no doing any kind of combat tricks to mess you up. Super nice. Counterspell. I love the version that this is of this kind of Jeskai equipment deck that you can play counter magic alongside your equipment. I've never, a commander that I've wanted to build around is the next card I actually want to talk about. Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders, and building an equipment deck around this card. Because I've always thought blue was an interesting space to play with the equipment because they like artifacts, they like non-creature spells, and the Crafter of Wonders is great in this deck as well. Tap to add 2 colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts, and equipped creatures you control flying and haste. Super nice. You can play an equipment, create a 1/1, attach it to it. That creature immediately has haste and a form of evasion and flying. Great. Dispatch. Exiles a creature for 1 white. This is better than Sword Supply Shard in this deck. No one gains life. It's better than the Fast Exile. No one gets a land. Super nice. Ethereum Sculptor for 1 and a blue. It's a 1/2. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Super nice. You're not playing green. It is a way to ramp without playing green. Fighter class. When it enters, you get an equipment card put into your hand. For 3 to get to level 2, equipped abilities cost 2 less. Very valuable. 5 mana. Whenever a creature you control attacks, up to 1 target creature blocks with this combat fable. I love Fighter class with equipment to give trample. You can put trample onto your 5/5, and now it's let's say 8/8. Force it to be blocked by a 1/1. Super nice. And then if you have enough creatures attack, you can set it up so that they have to block them. Let me explain this better. If you have a Colossal Dreadmaw attacking, and you force your opponent's land or else to block it, they could still block all other creatures and absorb the trample. But if you're attacking with 3 creatures, and they have 3 creatures, you can set it up so that a creature has to block different creatures, and that damage will trample over. Little hard to do in a non-green base. I'm thinking like a Cloud Mercenary deck, but getting equipments that give trample is a good place to be. I think you pronounce this Furion Wild Rose Warrior. For 3 mana, it's a 3/3. Equipped creatures have haste. Very nice in the deck that makes 1/1s every time you cast an equipment. Fantastic. Whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token copy of it, except for the equipped abilities cost 2 less, and you have to sacrifice it with the next end step. But equipment enters, you put a 1/1 on it. Makes your token copy of the equipment, it also attaches to a 1/1, and those can both immediately attack. Very nice in this deck. Flawless Maneuver, you're going to want to keep your commander around, take advantage of the free creatures, and giving all creatures control indestructible is a great thing. Forge Anew for 2 and a white. When it enters, return target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equip abilities anytime you can cast an instant, and you can pay 0 rather than the equip cost of the first equip ability during each of your turns. And I think that it's cute that it says on each of your turns in a deck that could be playing extra turn spells from blue. But returning things from your graveyard to your battlefield if they finally got rid of the problematic enchantment and equipment. The first one is free. You can do them at instant speed. Very fun. Generous Gift. You're not playing black. You need ways to destroy. You're not playing green. You need ways to destroy. Generous Gift is a good one. Inventory Management. This card is very, very strong. Rad and a white. Instant split second. As long as the spell's on the stack, players can cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. For each aura and equipment you control, you may attach it to a creature you control. Just start spreading out your equipment. They just board wiped. Throw around your equipment. Indestructible equipment. They're Mizium Mortary. Just put a bunch of equipment on things. They don't die to that 4 damage. Joyra Weatherlight Captain. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. All of your equipments are historic spells. Katara Water Tribe's Hope. For 2, a white, a blue, and a blue. It's a Vigilance. When it enters, make an ally. And you can waterbend X, and creatures you control have power and toughness XX at end of turn. The important thing here is that you can waterbend by tapping your artifacts. All of your equipments do not care if they're tapped or untapped. If they're attached to a creature, you get to benefit either way. So these waterbending things are free. Lightning Greaves for 2 colorless is an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. You equip it for 0. So you can pass this around, give haste and super good protective for your commander. Masterwork of Ingenuity. Enters on a copy of any equipment. Just copy your best equipment and it immediately attaches itself. Nahiri, Forged, and Fury. Now, this is my equipment deck of choice, but I would be curious to see if Sokka and Suki is better. For 4, a red and a white, it's a 5/4 affinity equipment. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. You may cast equipment spells this way without paying their mana costs. Nahiri, Forged, and Fury was my way of building a deck that dealt with the creature and equipment problem, where you have to balance the amount of creatures and the amount of equipment you have. And I wanted to build a Nahiri deck, and I did, but focuses on all of the 4 Mirrodin cards, or the cards that enter and make a journey. You know, the equipment that are equipment, so Nahiri will see them on top of your library. But if they come into play attached to a creatures, they were really creatures that were equipped, so they could do it the next turn too. Very nice. Open the armory, gets you any equipment out of your deck and puts them into your hand. Path of Ancestry. I want to talk about this one because a lot of the cards are humans and a lot of the cards are allies. And you also have some random warriors. So don't sleep on this card. Your commander has 3 creature types. So take advantage of those creature types. Path to Exile stuff. Pure Stin Paladin. Whenever equipment enters under your control, draw a card. And then as long as you have 3 or more artifacts, which is not hard to do in this deck, all of your stuff getting equipped 0. Seagate Lordmaster taps to draw a card for each ally you control. Every time an equipment enters, you get an ally. Sephiroth, Fallen Hero for 3, a red and a white. It's a 7/5. Whenever it attacks, you may put Excel counter on target creature. Until end of turn, each modified creature you control is base power and toughness step in 5. The Reunion is 3 mana for sacrifice a modified creature. Return this card from your grave to the battlefield tapped. All of your equipped creatures are modified creatures, so if it attacks, all of your 1/1 allies become 7/5s, and then you can sacrifice modified creatures, which is just sacrificing your ally, to return this card to the battlefield tapped. This card is actively insane in this deck. I also am confused. I don't understand the lore, why it puts cell counters on things and doesn't do anything with cell counters, but that's okay. Shadow Sphere for 1 mana. A good creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. You pay 1 permanent to your opponent's control, lose hexproof, and gain indestructible until end of turn, and it has you equipped for 2. Very nice. Singaria's Aid, you can cast equipment spells as though they had flash, and whenever equipment enters, you can attach it to a creature you control. This is great if you don't have your commander. Skull Clamp, whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards. You can immediately attach it to the ally that it makes. Sokka's Charge. During your turn, allies you control have double strike and lifelink. All of your equipped allies would be very beefy. Sokka, Bold Boomeranger. Floor blue and a red. When it enters, you can discard and draw the money back. And whenever you cast an artifact or a lesson spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it gets bigger. It's an ally, and it does a little bit of filtering. Sokka, Sword Master for 3 mana. It's a 3/3. It's vigilance. Equipped spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each ally you control. You're going to make a lot of allies. This is going to be a very good affinity card. At the beginning of coming your turn, you can attach up to 1 equipment you control to Sokka. The main reason we want this card is that it's an ally, it's on rate, and it has affinity for it gives your equipment spells affinity for allies, which is great. Sokka, Tenacious Tactician for 1, a blue, a red, and a white. It's a 3/3 with menace and prowess. It gives other allies menace and prowess, and every time you cast a non-creature spell, you make a 1/1. So let's take a step back. You make a 1/1. When you cast an equipment, you get 2 1/1s, and you can attach equipment to each of them, which is very strong. It pairs super well with Sokka and Suki. Soul Ring, it's a non-creature spell. It's an artifact. Got a ramp. South Pole Voyager for 1 and a white. It's a 2/2. When this creature or another ally you control enters, you gain 1 life. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card. Very nice. 2 allies is not hard to do. Saram, Senior Edificer. For 1 and a white, it's a 2/2. When you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle, draw a card. Steel Shaper's Gifts gets an equipment out of your deck and puts it into your hand. Stone Haven Outfitter is an ally that cares about equipped creatures. Equipped creatures you control the +1/+1. Whenever an equipped creature you control dies, draw a card. Very nice to be drawing cards off of those allies that you're making for free. Stoneforge Master Work. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. So those critical mass cards, you gotta have a lot of allies, but this gets good really fast. Stoneforge Mystic. It enters, search for an equipment, put it into your hand. You can pay 2 mana to put an equipment from your hands to the battlefield. And the nice thing is that Sokka and Suki do not care if the equipment was cast, it was just supposed to enter. So if you flicker the equipment, you get to attach to a 1/1. Swiftfoot Boots can give hexproof and haste. Sword of Feast and Famine, +2/+2, and protection from black and green. And then protection follows a debt rule. Cannot be destroyed by, enchanted by, equipped by, blocked by, or targeted by spells of that color or creatures of that color. Blocked is going to be Kihi, can be blocked by black or green things. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you untap all lands you control. That's a lot of ramp. You're going to be able to cast multiple spells to discard. Sword of Fire and Ice is pro red and blue. Equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, it deals 2 damage to any target, and you draw a card. Sword of the Animus, for 2 colorless, equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. Now you're ramping on theme in your non-green deck. Swords to Plowshares, got exile stuff, Talismanic Conviction, creativity, and progress. You're not playing green, so you need ways to diversify your mana. I think these cards are good because they are artifacts, and your deck does care about having a critical mass of artifacts, and they're also good because they're non-creature spells. The Reality Chip, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Super nice, and it's an equipment. The Reaver Cleaver, equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. That's a lot of treasure tokens. Trusty Boomerang, equipped creature has 1 tap target creature, return the boomerang to its owner's hand. This is a way to just keep making a ton of allies. Whirlwind of Thought turns all of your non-creature spells, which include your equipment, draw a card. Wrecking Ball Arm, 2 mana. Equipped creature has base power and toughness 7/7, and it can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. This is literally a 2 mana. It attaches itself to a 1/1 and immediately makes a 7/7 for 2 colorless. Super good. Those are all the cards that I would include if I was going to build a Sokka and Suki commander deck. I did include a Mox Field deck list to this deck in the description. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.